Hello. Yeah. Yep, this is another video. Videos like here. How you guys doing? Well, this is awkward. Yes, and if you have read the title right, well, you know what this is about already. It's a bit of a touchy, yeah, not touchy subject. And the reason why I'm talking about this is because I see this a lot. And I've been seeing it also a lot from, people from my job. I pretty much just see it on a daily basis, which is I would say the biggest reason why I am making this video, because I just kind of wanted to speak out a bit about this, ongoing thing of people thinking that they're basically entitled to everything, it seems like. And it's not necessarily their fault that they feel entitled, at least probably not lots of the time. I mean, lots of times I think it's kind of encouraged that people feel that they are entitled. And it's because, people are trying to sell you something. The reason why people feel they are so entitled is because they're trying to sell somebody something. And sometimes they make them feel that they are entitled to something so that they will buy it. They will buy into it and they will get scammed. And so when that happens, these people, they feel that they have been wronged and that they are entitled to something. It could be anything from a job, it could be anything relationship, an item that maybe they thought that they were promised, just pretty much anything in general. And the thing that kind of needs to change, especially in this country, I mean, there's plenty of things that need to change. And there's bigger problems than this, but however, this is an ongoing problem that is slowly becoming worse as each decade goes on, I've noticed. Now, of course, when I went to college, they always talk to me like, let's say, like you're just going to get a job, like you go to college and you get a job. I used to hear that quite a bit when I went to college. Of course, at the very least, I knew that wasn't the case even when I was going to college. But however, I did at least think that I was going to get some interviews, because my main purpose for going to college in the first place was because I didn't have that many work skills at the time. And, my father, of course, was helping me pay for it. And, I needed some kind of a work skill so that I can, just work my way up, get some money, move out of my parents' house, etc. And yeah, for a little while that was kind of hard, especially since we were still going through the recession at the time. Oh my God. I remember at the time I applied to like 20 restaurants at the time and not even a single person like even called for an interview at the time. But anyway, but especially after paying that kind of money after you go to college, you kind of get this sense like you have been entitled to something. And what I figured out, especially since I am probably in the shittiest state to get into welding, which I kind of had to figure out the hard way, to say the least. Like, I had like maybe one interview from one place, and then like I've tried applying to some other places, like several other places over time, and over time, maybe just like maybe two of them at best actually called back for an interview. And I also realized that welding isn't actually as good of a state as it is, and it's also not as in high demand as I thought it was, because a lot of machinery is kind of taken over the welding, because most welding jobs actually just consist of you just doing the same thing every day in some factory. And so a lot of machinery is taking those types of jobs, especially if it's the kind of job that involves doing the same thing every day. There's a chance that that job's going to be taken over by a machine. But to say the least, it was just so ridiculous. Of course, I still think to this day, especially after paying that kind of money, it makes you feel like you're entitled to something. But the truth is, you aren't. You aren't really entitled to anything. And you realize that it's just a scam, that these companies and these people just simply don't give a crap about you. They legally, of course, and at least understandably, actually don't really owe you anything. They don't owe you a job. They don't owe you this. They don't owe you that. They don't owe you anything just because you took a class that taught you how to do a test. They really don't owe you anything. And like I said, it's at least understandable, but it would have been at least nice to know that ahead of time instead of just forking out all this money into this class that I would have to say was possibly the biggest loss of money I've ever had, or should I say it's the biggest waste of money I've ever put towards something. Because seriously, man, it was a shitload of money just for that freaking class that I took for a year like that. That was just ridiculous. And again, what I ended up doing was I just started going through a temp service, to get some experience that way so I can actually get some work experience just in general. And it's funny, I actually have achieved all of my goals without college. Like every single one of them. And it's just a scam. And let's say in the case you're in a relationship though. Let's say one day this person just ups and leaves you one day without saying a word. And then next thing you know, they're going out with a different person and you don't know what the fuck's going on. To say the least, it's kind of a shitty thing for people to do that sometimes, to leave without really saying anything. It can make you kind of have a panic attack. And it makes you, of course, feel like you're entitled to something when somebody does something like that. They do something like that to you. But the thing is, legally, again, they actually have the option to leave whenever they want. They're an adult. They are not a child. You can't claim them. You can't own them. They are a human being. And maybe they did it because they felt that they didn't want to face you when they wanted to tell you that they didn't want to be with you anymore. They would have gotten upset. Maybe they didn't want to deal with the emotional part of that. And so they maybe left without telling you anything. But of course, you maybe don't know that. And so you might feel a bit entitled to at least an explanation. But, I, of course, would have to say this from experience. You just have to kind of move on. And even if they did tell you, and the reason why they left you, it probably won't make you feel any better. Trust me. Yeah. And this next, story I guess I will tell about being entitled would have to be towards video games, actually. And I'm just kind of up with this as I go, by the way. So I would have to say the best example recently that I've been seeing quite a bit is with Fallout 76. Now, of course, when the game came out, it was just a buggy fucking mess. They didn't complete the game almost at all whatsoever. It was barely even playable at all. It would crash constantly, and it was just a mess. And so it was at least understandable why people were upset that they paid $60 for a game that wasn't really even close to being finished. And within a couple months, they dropped down the price to $40. So that at the very least was kind of understandable. But, they have fixed the game quite a bit since then. And I keep on hearing this and that from the people that are playing this game. They just keep on bitching and moaning about what they're owed and, this and that. And I hate to say this, but this is true. I mean, even though they have fixed the game quite a bit, I still get the we're entitled to this, we're entitled to that, blah, blah, blah. And I hate to say it, but I just think that these guys are just trying to get something out of the creators that made this game, and are still working on it. To be frank, and sometimes I just think that they like drama. Sometimes, and one of the more recent examples is when they came out with the Fallout First deal. And don't get me wrong, I think it's a shitty deal, but let me be straight with you. It's a better deal than like paying $40 for only 4,000 atoms, or paying $10 for just 1,000 atoms and then paying that way. To say the least, I mean, if you haven't seen the deal, you can look at the deal. But basically, what it is that you get certain things for $100 a year. You can pay the $100 years for a year up front, or you could pay $12 per month. And again, I think it's a shitty deal, but it's still a better deal actually than like the other deals that they have for getting atoms and everything. Sorry about that. I actually dropped it. But anyway, I mean, yeah, I sometimes think that, we have been just taught to feel as if we are just entitled by these companies and these corporations to make us feel that we need to pay for something that, we want. It is so that they can take advantage of us in our entitlement and our feelings. And you kind of need to be aware of that it's just a scam. It's not really real. And this feeling of entitlement, although it's maybe not all bad, and there's nothing wrong with you, it's simply not true. And you need to be aware of that these companies that are selling you what they're trying to make you buy don't really care about you. I mean, yeah, sure, they act like they care sometimes, and I'm sure that they don't hate you. I'm sure that they also like the money that you're giving them, but they sure as heck don't care about you or me or anybody else. At the best, they maybe care about their company and their revenue and the numbers, but other than that, yeah, they sure as heck don't care about us. And they've pretty much shown that over and over and over again. They do not give a crap about us. But with that being said, I'll end the video. You guys can tell me what you think on it, but that's basically in a nutshell what I think. And I'll see you guys in the next video. I hope this video doesn't become controversial. Bye.